never can tell yourself no. Don't tell yourself no.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing they can say is no. But if you tell yourself no, you're already cutting yourself off. They possibly could say yes, and that's why I took myself and went to Rolls Royce right after that.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, well, BMW said yes. Let me go see what Rolls Royce and Bentley will say.
And what do they say?
The same thing. They said,
Julio Ramos, man, I really appreciate you coming on this Laconic podcast. I want to get to know about you and your industry and your business. And I know you had to drive down from Thousand Oaks. It's cold today. I mean, I'm freezing. We're down here in the studio. It's cold. I can't turn the AC on. I mean, the heater on because it makes a lot of noise. So, sorry if you're freezing in the dungeon today.
Not freezing.
So, how was your drive down here, man?
Well, first, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was easy. I live in Westwood, so it's not that far of a drive.
Did you go through Topanga?
No, I was, but sometimes, you can't predict how the canyons are. So
Well, not this weather, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You could have rocks coming at you.
Yeah, I don't want to take a chance. So
Get some rocks.
Just took the 405 to the 10.
Perfect.
PCH.
Was it easy?
Yeah, it was easy.
No traffic?
No traffic.
What?
Well, it's always against traffic.
Yeah. Well, and you grew up in LA, right?
Yeah.
In East LA, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
LA and East LA.
Yeah, so I actually want to talk to you about that. So, like, I know LA is, like, rich in culture, but I also know it's, like, really violent. Like, had a lot of violence. At least that's what, like, the media portrays. And
Well,
at
in the
least
90s.
from, like, yeah, but I mean, I've grown up as a kid, I grew up in Northern California, and I used to watch a lot of movies, and everything about, like, the gangs was always about East LA and that. So, like, how was that growing up as a child, like, down there?
It was tough, but there was a lot of good times too. But walking to school, hearing gunshots, or walking to school, getting shot at by accident because you're crossing neighborhoods.
By accident.
It's like, hey man, I'm just going to school.
Yeah, that's
Or
crazy.
I'm walking back from school or whatever.
But so how was like how were you not influenced by like the gangs and stuff? 'Cause I know a lot of people are usually influenced by that and fall into that trap and choose the gang lifestyle.
I just had really cool friends, and I had friends that were in gangs and friends that weren't in gangs. And for the most part, a lot of them would just give me good advice not to join them, But it's hard not to make friends with people that were in gangs. I had really good friends that weren't in gangs. And, it's just, parents too, right?
Yeah.
It's that.
You had both. I'm assuming you had both parents at home. That's usually the structure, right? It's usually if both of the parents are home and they're involved, it's like you don't really fall into the trap of that. Like I grew up with a single mother, so it was more easy to like fall in the traps and looking for a father figure, and you go to the streets, find that.
It makes you feel like family, right? Good friends. And I had a bunch of good friends. I had them in some people were in party crews, some were in gangs. Either which way, we're all getting shot at. So.
Hey man, it is what it is. But like, what got you into like keeping your head focused? And I actually saw that you did paint job in high school. And is that what inspired that, or were you always into cars and as a child?
I was always into cars. I just didn't. By the time I got to high school, I took a body shop class, and I dropped out of that to go into an art class. Oh, because I told the teacher, "Hey, I'm not gonna do this when I grow up." That's what I'm doing. It's exactly what I switched. I transferred from electives, right?
Yeah. No, I did workshop. I did wood shop.
Wood shop. I did that for a while too.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. And so you did art then?
Yeah, I took art.
Oh wow! So you did art, and you're in a body shop, and like for people, like new listeners, Julio Ramos actually does paint job, and he actually does art. So you're doing both of them.
It's funny. I dropped out of body shop class, which would have helped me now, right? But and look at me now. I'm restoring cars, vintage European cars.
Wow. It's a full circle, right? Sometimes you just gotta. That's what they always say. Don't ever say you never will, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And then there you are doing the same. That industry, that business.
Yeah. I still remember. I was like, I'm not gonna do this when I grow up. And switch me to an art class.
Yeah. No. It's life though. That's what it's all about. But Julio Ramos, you actually did our Tesla.
Yeah.
So you did it green. So let's break down the Tesla. Now we'll show the video of like the Tesla when he finished product. So I just wanted him to describe what it took to do the Tesla, because Tesla might be a little more difficult. So how was that like doing the Tesla?
It was a little difficult. We had to tear it down, which is that's taking it apart. We started by doing a panel by panel, prepping the panel. Once we knew the color, then we just started doing the primer work, prepping the primer, which you have to sand it to get it to get you to the point where you can spray the color that you picked.
Yeah.
Then that took several days. Then the next step was the paint job. That took a few days. Of once I laid the paint down, we let it cure, and then the next day we did the clear coat.
Yeah, no, it came out beautiful, man. I mean, it's awesome. We
Thank
love
you.
it. What did you do with the extra paints? I know you're known to also do paint, and you keep your paint, right? And you make art with that. So did you use it?
Yeah, I made a 2x2 painting for Carl.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Then you did say you did. We haven't seen it yet though, but you've done it. So, what is that process like? Like, what's your like? What inspired you to be doing that? Like the saving the paint and painting with that. And you say you can't redo that. So like, what does that mean technically?
Well, with this one, what I did was the how do we call it? Deconstruction of the paint. So the Tesla paint, or the custom paint that we picked for you, was completely had like 7 toners. So it had like different versions of red, green, silver, metallics. And what I did is I just did a recreation of how the paint looks in the paint cup before I mix it. That's what I did for Carl, like a version of me looking down into the cup right before I mix it, when it becomes that green.
It's a process, man.
It is. People think green is green or white is white or black.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's yellow and black, red and black.
Yeah. That's what I think, right? But you have to make these like certain colors, and there's not going to be another Tesla with the same color, right?
Nope. That's a one of a kind.
Yeah, and you know what's funny,
and I'm
man?
not painting another one either. So.
Right, because it's that difficult.
Not just because that's it. It's just one.
I love that.
Yeah,
you got that exclusiveness, right?
That's it. Yeah,
that's what life's about being exclusive. But
even if someone's like, "Oh, please do the car like his," it could be your friend. I'll be like, "Too bad."
I love that exclusive rights, green Tesla. You know, it's funny when people look at the Tesla, man. They're always like, "Oh, that's a nice wrap." It's like, can you tell the difference from a wrap and actually a paint job? Like, actually, like literally, like legitimate? Can you?
Well, some of them are. Some wraps they're getting up there. They're starting to look like actual paint.
Wow.
There's some up there that have that gloss effect or chameleon look where they change colors, or even a chrome look.
Wow. And what's the difference? I mean, I know for me, I know the difference, but like someone, listening to this, like what's the difference from a wrap and actual custom paint?
Well, a wrap is like a vinyl film that you put over the doors, and some cars you're able to do the jams or the moldings, but on some of them you'll see seams, just like, think about it like wallpaper on a wall.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
That's what I look at it. I'm like, I think about it just like, because you can resell that, right? And you just take that thing off.
Yeah, or if you get bored of that color, you just
take it off and get a new one, right?
Get a new one, yeah. Or panel scratches, replace that panel.
Yeah, and so we got the Tesla, but I want to go back to your business. When did you start like actually doing the custom painting, and when did that happen? Was that right after high school, or it took some time, or were you working at a shop?
No, 2001 is when I started.
Okay.
When I started my business, I was 25 years old.
Wow, 25, and you're still doing the same thing.
I'm still doing it. I love it, man. I absolutely love it.
And, I mean, that's huge, man. 25-year-old, have your own business, you're your own boss. I mean, what's the tips and what's the tricks out there for people that want to start their own paint job or whatever, any business?
Any business.
Yeah, any business.
Well, if you actually, how can I put it? If the best thing is to find what you love in life and go do it to achieve the highest level that you can in that field. It's passion. It's passion, because I had ups and downs.
Yeah,
it's very difficult to start a business in LA or anywhere, right? But you just gotta stick with it, and if you love it, that'll make you keep going.
Yeah, and in LA, I mean, this is like a place where people want to be entrepreneurs and want to do things. What did you see someone growing up that you're like, they have their own business, I want to do the same thing, or what made you think that mindset, like to actually just start your own business?
I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was growing up. It
Oh,
just it's strange. I started liking cars more and more, and then my first job I took a auto detail job, and then a friend of mine hired me to do paintless dent removal, where that's where you remove a dent without painting the car, door dings, and that opened the door my mind into like, wow, I used to have friends that would custom paint their own cars like in their garage and stuff like that, and I was like, man, I always wanted to do that. And
yeah.
I had painless dent removal. I saved some money, and I opened up a shop. And since I worked at a BMW dealership at the time, I just 25-year-old went in there, talked to the GM. I'm like, hey, I have a small little shop. I can do your cars, and they gave me they gave me a try, and they liked my work, and they kept giving me more and more work, and then
Yeah.
they would refer the customers to me as well, and
Wow.
I went from there.
How was, I mean, that's courage right there, right? To go little 25 punk, like who's
Yeah, right?
like who's his punk
Yeah,
coming to
and,
BMW, a little small shop, like, take a shot with me.
Yeah.
But that's the thing though. That's what separates you from a lot of people, is taking that risk. Other people like, nah, but I'm just like starting off. Like no one's gonna like trust my work. Like, for like, even for me, like this podcast, like I try to get people that are like, some people like, you should go interview like this person. And they're big. Is like, you start thinking about it, like, no, I'm not that big yet. Like,
Yeah.
I can't
well,
do it.
you never can tell yourself no. Don't tell yourself no.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing they can say is no. But if you tell yourself no, you're already cutting yourself off. They possibly could say yes, and that's why I took myself and went to Rolls Royce right after that.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, well, BMW said yes. Let me go see what Rolls Royce and Bentley will say.
And what do they say?
The same thing. I said, look, I can fix that. Let me fix that bumper for you guys. I have a shop here. It's in Pico Robertson at the time.
Yeah, no,
right,
Pico
right,
Robertson,
right
yeah.
by the O'Gara dealership, right? And
Wow.
they're like, all right. Here I am, 25-year-old kid pulling up in a Bentley in my newly shop, and I color matched the bumper. I guess I've always was good at colors.
Yeah.
Color matching, because not anybody can match a color right.
No, absolutely not. I mean, you're amazing at it. I mean, I see all the cars in your shop. I like to this day, and so you're doing it at 25. How was like the hiring process of people? Like, were you selective? 'Cause I mean, you're 25 years old. You're still just figuring it out. You just got BMW, Rolls Royce, Bentley on your shop.
Yeah.
And, like, you're fixing these cars. Obviously, you need like manpower to be able to perform that. How do you lead a team?
I got lucky in that because a friend was retiring from a body shop business just by coincidence, and we were talking. He's like, "Why don't you hire my painter? You already know how to do small dents." We started with very small, like bumpers only, and then maybe a scratch on a fender, and then got into bigger. I never, I didn't want to do collision work, like where that just takes too much time.
Yeah.
I'm about like cosmetics, and
Okay.
subtle work, and so it just started with one employee, and then it went to, let's hire a body man, someone who can actually take the whole car apart. So then I went with that, and then I said, well, we need someone. Got tired of washing cars, so I said we need someone to wash a car and detail the cars and buff the cars after we painted it. So I've always had a crew of 4, but at the most I think I had 7 employees.
Wow.
At some point.
And what was like one of the like struggles for you when you first started as a business, like when you were by yourself and stuff? I mean, when you're 25-year-old and progressing, like what was one of your struggles?
I'm trying to remember. I had many struggles. The main one I remember was the recession was a hard time for me.
Not a lot of people coming by, and
not a lot of people coming by, and then I just happened to walk into Lotus as well, and by that time I was doing a little bit better, and I wanted to repair. I wanted to be like a Lotus certified shop, so I ended up buying one at that time, and that opened up the doors because the GM there asked me, "So what do you do for a living?" I said, "Oh, I have a body shop down the street," and they're like, "Oh, you think you could fix this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll give it a try. Let me see if I can fix it. I'll take it to the shop and talk to my guys. We fixed it, and took it back, and they're like, "How would you like to be our official body shop?"
Wow.
I was a little older then, but
Yeah.
and that opened up other doors as well. Becoming certified with Lotus.
Just opportunities coming up like to you and stuff, and I do want to talk about the Lotus thing because Julio Ramos is like you race car, right? You like do the
I did that for a little bit.
Yeah, that's fun though. I mean, how was that? How was doing that? I mean, I know that's like a side hobby, but you know, people gotta understand who you are too, and like what is that about? Like when you talking about like Lotus, were you actually racing cars or like through like like Laguna Seca or?
Yeah,
Wow.
I would do that and a bunch of tracks here in California as well. Like, I didn't do the actual wheel-to-wheel racing with the roll cage because I still wanted to drive my car on the street. Once you roll cage, it's not street legal. But it was amazing. The all the guys that we participated in Lotus Cup were really friendly and helpful, and a lot of them gave me track advice on how to drive on the track fast and safe. And I kept getting faster and faster, and
wow, man,
just the adrenaline, it's amazing.
Yeah,
you get out of your car and you're like, wow, you're just adrenaline jump.
That now you know you really love cars. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I've always loved cars, right? I've always like grown up, but I grew up with like you know, I grew up in Northern California, it's more like Impalas and lowriders, and obviously East LA has that culture too. There
for sure. And that's what always got me into the paint job of it.
Yeah, was it lowriders?
Yeah, lowriders, because friends would have candy colored trucks. Remember the trucks?
Yeah.
With what do they call those? The airbags?
Hydraulics.
Hydraulics.
Yeah, hydraulics. Yeah.
So they had some of those that were like candy colored, and they would get a scratch. And they actually told me the history of lowriders. It started with like someone would have a candy colored car, and maybe it'll get a scratch somewhere. And with candy, you have to paint the whole car. You can't the whole side, because you can't just color match it anymore. It's very translucent paint.
Oh,
it almost looks like but I forget the name of those apples. I just called it right now. But it's very translucent, and it's a very difficult color. You can't match it. And if it would get scratched, someone would come and put a pinstripe on it. So it started with the pinstripe covering the scratch.
Oh, was that where that came from?
Yeah, and then little designs. I mean, I'm sure there's little different stories, but a friend of mine told me like that's how
those stripes and stuff happened.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then they would make them wider. And they're like, wait a minute. And then someone was just doing their art on it.
It looks cool and stuff, yeah. And then they'll put the Aztecs and the woman and
the guy crying.
The guy crying with the woman. It's the typical culture.
Yeah.
LA has culture, man, and I like I know you probably know the Pino like from like Blood In Blood Out.
Right.
And then they have the what's that taco place? Five Puntos.
Yeah. I used to drive by there.
It's funny, man, being in that rich culture and stuff. Would you say like LA maybe influenced your whole car stuff? Because I mean,
sure.
it's in your face here, man. Like the car
East
culture.
LA and West LA. I would live out here too. Had to spend my summers here. My dad worked at Pepperdine, so I would spend my summers there. And
you saw cars.
Yeah,
you saw cars.
Cars.
Yeah, because like for me, like I know being up there and Salinas, well, Northern California, like you lowriders, but then you go. I lived in Monterey, and then you see like the Pebble Beach Concords. You have all the fancy cars, all the Ferraris, and then I got into that, and I'm like, well, these cars are cool. They're unique. Cool. Yeah, like growing up there and that. And I know you still haven't gotten to Pebble Beach.
No, yeah, that's the craziest stuff. I've been to Goodwood, the Festival of Speed in England, which is pretty cool. It's like the equivalent of Pebble Beach here and stuff.
All the
like
Aston Martins and stuff.
Yeah. It was when was it? 2012 was Lotus. I had the Marquis. They were the Marquis brand.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool. So got invited there, went there. It was cool. But I still haven't done Pebble Beach. I want to restore a car. That's my goal, is to keep restoring cars. Eventually restore one that we take up there.
No, that'd be awesome, man.
Yeah.
You moved, man. You moved from the West Side, right? West Side, where your
3
shop
years
was
ago,
at. Yeah, you're 3 years ago, West Side shop. Talk about taking a risk, and now you're around Thousand Oaks
During COVID too.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're booming. So this is where it gets fun. This is where I want to come out and pick your brain as an entrepreneur, or just as a person that took a risk. You took a risk going in the BMW. Why Thousand Oaks? Why that area?
Well, because I just got tired of LA. And the shop layout at my shop wasn't right.
Hmm.
Just it was a small base, and it was a 10,000 square foot lot.
Oh,
Yeah, that's big, right? But
yeah.
the work area was only like 2,000 square feet.
Oh,
So it was hard to work, and if it rained, I couldn't paint a car because I couldn't drive it out. Or if
oh,
it was freshly painted, I couldn't drive it out to work on it.
yeah.
So there was a lot of a lot of issues with that shop. But I stayed there 16 years,
Oof.
about 16 years, and that was my second shop. The Newberry Park one is my third shop.
Wow. And what made so you moved out? You wanted more space.
I wanted more space, and I wanted it to be easier on me. Financially, the rent over there's a lot easier. It's cheaper.
Yeah, of
And
course.
yeah, and I want to do stuff for me now. Like, I couldn't take too long. I I guess what I'm trying to say, Newberry Park gave me the chance to restore more cars
Yeah.
and get into that field that I love more than collision cars.
Um,
Fixing cars. Oh, I hit the pole. Okay, whatever. I'll fix it for you.
right.
But what I love to do is restoring vintage cars.
Well, that's what got you right. That's what got you going. That's what you find joy in. And so what's been the struggle? What's been the struggle out there? I mean, I know we talked and stuff, but what's been the struggle for you that you like? Man, I need more people to, listen to me, and I'm trying to promote myself and whatnot.
But yeah, I just never been good at marketing myself. At my original shop at Pico, I was there for 7 years, never had a street sign.
Wow.
So
Just word of mouth. Then,
word of
right?
mouth. And
Yeah.
I just printed a sign for Newberry Park. It's been there 3 years now. No, but I just get so much support from LA. The people drive their cars from LA for me to fix them. I scratch my car. I hit a pole. Can you want to fix it for me? I'm like, yeah. I get a lot of support. I have people like you support us.
Yeah, that's always great. You always got to understand too. Like it's always good to have quality and quantity, right?
Yeah, but
With anything.
yeah, the struggle is every time you move, it's like a ladder. Every time you move, you got to like restart all. It feels like you're restarting all over again, and then you move to the next location. It's always like starting from new again. So that was my struggle. And then not having a sign on the street makes it worse.
Yeah,
So,
you gotta have a sign.
Yeah,
Especially if you're
you
in
have
Thousand
to.
O's, you have to and
Yeah, I
stuff.
have to. I refused, but I broke down. I finally did it.
You have to.
Yeah.
But why don't you do the same thing though and go up to Thousand Oaks and go to BMW and Bentley and do hey, I have a shop down the street. I mean, use your same skills that you've done in the past, or you don't think it'll work.
No, it'll work. I still have the connections from Bentley and Rolls Royce and all the people but now I'm doing what I love to do, like the automotive restoration. So instead of going to dealerships, now I'm going to private collection people who they're doing the same thing as me but don't have a paint shop. So I'm meeting people or owners of other shops that restore cars but don't have
Oh,
they
okay.
don't do paint.
So you
So-
become like the handyman in a way. Like you cover them. Like
Yeah.
I'll be your paint job for your
Mhm.
cars and stuff.
Yeah, which is what I want to do. They bring the car all apart.
Yeah.
Less overhead for me. I just have to do the body and paint. I give it back to them. They put it back together.
And are those the cars that you're doing? Are they more like the classic cars and like the old school cars, or you're doing that for any car?
No, it's mainly the shops that I'm trying to partner up with are cars that are doing vintage European cars like me. And convinced my friend, his name is Carl, to move from where we were at, Pico Robertson, all the way to Newberry Park too. She has a bigger shop, more space.
Appreciate you, man, for
Yeah.
coming down here.
There's
and
so
coming
much.
down.
Oh, thank you, man. There's so much culture in LA, man.
There
There's so
is.
much culture and a lot of influence from all different parts of LA.
No, I love living here, man. It's like I would not change it for anything. It's such a cool place.
It
I
definitely
mean,
is.
you got the homeless issues.
Yeah.
That's something. I mean, honestly, this might be out of topic, but like growing up,
That's
was that a thing? Was that
No, man. I
like
met,
seriously? I'm actually curious
know,
to ask Angelino.
yeah,
the real-
growing up, I met a guy from Africa who told me once, but this is back then. It's different now, right? I'm talking about maybe 10, 15 years ago. I met this guy, and he says, in In America, you choose to be homeless.
Mm.
Because in other countries, like you go to Mexico, I was at Mexico City, and I didn't see any homeless people. Even at the most poorest level, they have shelters, places to live, not on the streets. Here in America, they're in the streets. But what he meant is 10, 20 years ago, there's a lot of like runaway kids who just wanted to be homeless, or people who didn't want to be homeless. The situation's different now. You don't choose to be homeless. It's the economy, everything's changing. That forces a lot of people to become homeless.
Mm-hmm.
So it's different now. But back then, you could be a beach bum if you wanted to.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, you lived in Venice for a bit, right?
Yeah,
So it's like
15 years.
so like you have the beach, but it's not. Yeah, no, man, it's
a big difference.
Huge. I mean, I've heard a lot of stories from like people in the past that are like,
and it's not local homeless. It's like transplant homeless. They come from other places. Where Southern California, it's a good place to be homeless because of the weather, I guess, too, right?
No, it's the weather. Besides today, man, it's cold.
Yeah, right now they're like, oh, I'm going back.
It's like Windy City. I think I'm in Chicago. No, I actually was talking to someone about that, dude. I was talking to someone randomly. I walked. I tell this story to everyone, right? I was like, hey. I was walking at the beach one day, and I was curious because I was tired of it because I work at a Ghost Gym, and that whole area was full of bums like everywhere, and I felt unsafe. I'm like, God, I want to go to the gym. I'm like staggering over like jump, like walking over homeless people, like you don't even know they're dead, and you're just walking like I hope they're alive. So I'm like, I've had it, dude. So I go to famous Venice Beach boardwalk, right? Yeah. And they're everywhere.
They attack you too now.
Yeah. It's crazy. So I go and I talk to the guy, and I'm like, hey man, why are you here? Like, where you come? Like, what's your, like, why are you here? And he's like, I don't know, man. He's like, I just got shipped off, man, from Chicago. I was like, one of the police officers said, do I want to come to California to take care of me and blah, 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 and give me food. And it's better than here, than the Windy City, right? It's better than being in this cold. Here's a Greyhound ticket. Yep. The one-way ticket to L.A.
They do that from everywhere. Santa Barbara.
Bro.
They do that from everywhere. They dump them here.
Yeah, and I was like, you're right, transplants, right? And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, seriously? And apparently now, I mean, I don't want to be quoted for this, but apparently now they're actually shipping them off to Tarzana and Palmdale, Lancaster from here.
Yeah. They're trying to build a shelter in Newbury Park.
What?
Where they just dump them over there, and I'm like,
that's in your location.
Yeah, everybody there is like, the homeless problem is everybody wants to do something about it, but not in my backyard.
Yeah.
So, so they're looking at Newbury Park, and the people in Newbury Park, they're like, oh, we want to fix the homeless too, but not in my backyard. Because I listen to all the local people there that have been there for generations, and so it's a tough situation we're all in.
Yeah, no, it is, man, and I like to ask people that actually live and grew up here. It's different when you're an outsider and you're looking in.
Yeah.
And when you're actually you're from LA, and I know people that lived here for a very long time, and it's tough times. Santa Monica's not what it used to be, and it's a lot of places is dangerous. Beverly Hills is dangerous, and all these other places, and it's just to be able to keep your mindset on your craft, on your work, and do what you love, and when you have all these problems around you.
Yeah, and you see other people homeless and stuff like that, and it's sad, But there's two guys that I know that were homeless, and they just don't want to work. So you got that homeless too, right? It's like, what? They're like, oh, they send me money every month. I don't want to work.
Who sends you money every month?
The government, or they sign up to this program, like mental illness program.
Oh my gosh. Which is messed up, but that mental health is
it's a real thing, man.
It is, but they should be, some people should be in the mental health institution, right? But there's not such thing.
No, they got all shut down.
Yeah, they got shut down by Reagan.
Yeah, by Reagan.
So we know that happened. Yeah. So it's just some of the people need to be on that, and it's just that's when you start that's the problem with what's going on is it's too easy. It's like a handout, right?
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to work.
Yeah, they don't want to work. I'm like, damn. But I don't know. It's a trip, and a lot of people, they love being in the tents, and I guess to some point there's some type of freedom, but I don't get it. Like, they're disconnected from society and everything. But
Julio Ramos is awesome, man. He's a guy with a story, but also with a passion. He loves what he does. He He, restores cars. And if you guys want to contact him, feel free, reach out. I will drop all his information on the description. And I really appreciate you guys listening to the podcast last week, not last week, but the one with Danny Amesqua. That was really awesome. Appreciate the feedback. If anyone has feedback, let me know. And thank you again for listening. And until the next time, thank you.